Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Goal Getters. My name is John Rustino, and happy to be here with you on a Friday afternoon. I'm in Western New York, and it's warm. Warmer now. I guess it's warm in here, but it's really it's not bad though. Got good weather coming our way. Almost 60 degrees they're talking about in the next couple of days. So look forward to that. A lot of stuff going on, so we got a lot to get to. One thing, though, living here in Western New York and being NHL fans too, um, big trade yesterday. Finally, the Jack Eichel thing that we've been talking about forever has happened, and he was traded to the Las Vegas Golden Knights or Vegas Knights, whatever you want to call them. And just as we had said on here before, the Sabres with the before I get into that, if you have any questions or comments, you can go on the message board. Please leave them. Robin is here, and she will be checking the message board. If there's anything you want to say, join the conversation, please. As we said before, the Eichel situation was flawed, right? It was definitely a serious fumble by the organization, not letting him have a surgery. That I know they were trying to say that no one's ever had it in the NHL, but UFC fighters have had it. So you would assume if UFC fighters have had it, then it's probably not going to be bad for an NHL skater, player, since UFC guys are getting punched in the head, being choked out, and all kinds of things happening to them. So the Sabres didn't allow that, the disc replacement surgery. The Vegas Knights don't care. They have now made an incredible deal where it's, talk at the top of my head, Krebs, who's a minor league player, played a little bit, but he's younger guy, and a first round pick that is protected. It's protected. So if it's a top 10 pick, the Knights keep it. The Golden Knights keep it. So the Sabres get Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, and that first round pick, a future second rounder, where the Knights get obviously Eichel and I think a third. Now, like I said, at one point we talked about this. We've talked about this so much on this show that it started to get really, aggravating and boring, and we had to stop. But now it happened, and I think everything came true that we thought. I mean, the Sabres did not get the value they deserved by their own doing, though. Because if they'd let him have that surgery last year, after he had, the team was out of contention at that point. I don't know how many they lost in a row. I say 16, but maybe it wasn't. Whatever it was, if they would have just allowed him to have the surgery, he would have been ready, I'm sure, for training camp, and that deal would have been made, and they'd have got a lot more for it. I mean, they weren't going to get Tkachuk from Calgary. Just not. You're not going to get the guys from the Rangers that they wanted. And, the Knights get away with giving up not much. I mean, Tuch's a 20-goal scorer on a good team. I don't know what he's going to be like in Buffalo when he has to face, when you're playing on the top line, you're facing Victor Hedman and those guys, the top players, the top defense on each team. I don't know. Things aren't as easy. We've seen that before. When you see guys that have played on very good teams, they score 20, 25 goals. When they come elsewhere, Jeff Skinner, you then see what happens. And not even that Carolina was that great. And also they didn't play him with Eichel, which was a problem too. They probably should have kept him with Eichel, and you'd have had some more continuity. But anyhow, so that deal is made. And the Sabres retain no money too, so that's good for them. No money is retained. Then there's the Sabres trading for Johnny Boychuk from the Islanders. Johnny Boychuk has got a $6 million cap hit. Boychuk retired last year with an eye injury. So that $6 million going against the cap for the Islanders, well, the Sabres gave him a gift and took it off their hands. So they have Boychuk on long-term IR. For the Islanders, what that does is that helps them because trade deadline time, injuries, make a trade, whatever, UFAs, they got $6 million to play with now. The Sabres, though, they needed that $6 million just to get to the cap, just to get to the cap floor. here's my idea on the Sabres, and here's my thoughts on them. You know, at some point you got to win. You can't keep on not making the playoffs. So, like, think of Dahlin. Dahlin eventually, if they don't make the playoffs in the next 3 years, because that's what he signed for, he's going to want out. If Cousins plays well, any of these young guys become decent, play well, play really well, they're going to want out of here. You have to make the playoffs for these guys to stay. And there's no hope of it. When you have a tandem of Tokarski and Anderson combined almost 80 years old, you're just not going to do it. And there's no sign of life. You can only strip down so many times. And they're not stripping down anymore. Now it's just, I don't know what's happening. It's bizarre. I've never seen a team that does not want playoff money. Generally, they want that. They want that extra cash. That's the money making, right? Playoffs. They don't want it. Or at least they don't show that they want it. They haven't proven they want it, so they don't want it. Or it doesn't look that way. But the players want it because that's where you become a legend, right? That's where great players in the regular season, that'll be the criticism. Go look at baseball, Don Mattingly, right? Same thing. He had that criticism. Wasn't his fault. Stayed with the Yankees. They never made the playoffs except his last year where he was already injured. And, nothing came of it for him. And forever and ever, including with the Hall of Fame, he's been thought of as not as much as he should have, like Kirby Puckett. So that's the thing. You can't keep on going year after year without having a playoff appearance, not giving these young guys a chance to become the legendary players they want to be, the superstars they want to be, because that's where it happens. It does not happen in the regular season. It happens in the playoffs. Look at Ovechkin ever since. He's going to score. He's got 740 goals scored the other night. He's one behind. Forgetting the name. But it doesn't matter. He's going to be number 4 overall. And Brett Hall. Thank you, Robin. Behind Brett Hall. So, yeah, you got it. You have to. You have to get these guys in the playoffs. They need that. I would think, like I said, the organization would need that extra revenue that you get when you get those playoff games, those home games in the playoffs. Right now, I don't think 7,000 people should go to. If I'm a Sabres fan, you got it. I don't understand. You can't keep enabling this team, and that's what ends up happening. You will enable them if you keep making excuses for them. And this trade right here was horrible. There is no way, other than getting rid of Eichel. But I could understand getting rid of Eichel if your team, you had the possibility of being, maybe you think I could be better without him. And that's true because he wasn't there anyways. But he couldn't stay. You didn't make the playoffs with him at all. He has to go. Not because I think the narrative of trying to make him turn out to be some kind of cancer or malcontent type, I think is unfortunate because we don't know that. No one knows that. We'll find out. We'll see what happens in Las Vegas. If in Las Vegas, because he should come back for the playoffs if they make it, I assume. He'll be ready. So, and then next year, if you tell me these issues if there's some issues cropping up, then he'll become Evander Kane. And, it's big for Eichel, right? This is career making stuff for him. He can't fail there, nor can he, whatever problems people around here tried to say he had inside the locker room, which we don't really know, will come out. We'll know it in Las Vegas, I'm sure. So, it's interesting. So Eichel got traded, the Johnny Boychuk thing, just a team that seems like, I don't know what to say. I've watched the Red Wings do it. I watched the Maple Leafs do it. I watched the Senators do it. You've watched teams strip down like that, and it's for a reason, and then you keep on building up. And the Rangers have done it. This Sabres team keeps doing it, and I don't think they're doing it. I think there's no other choice but what else are they going to do? That's that trade, the Buffalo Sabres did finally move Eichel to Las Vegas, who will probably be ready by playoff time, and it'll be interesting to see if they get in there. All right, so that's on the NHL side of it. that was the biggest story I felt of the day in the NHL. In the big story, just in general, first of all, let's congratulate the Atlanta Braves. They beat the Houston Astros. Jorge Soler was the MVP of that of the series. 3 home runs in 6 games, 6 RBIs. It's Atlanta's first title since 1995. So I don't think many people had the Braves winning the World Series early on, but there they are, and they won the World Series. Good for them, and congratulations if you're a Braves fan out there. You know, they did it with little, and they did, and you know, it's funny. You get Tampa's, you get the Braves, and all that stuff, and you sit there and watch the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, and they never get what you would think they should have. So congratulations to the Braves. In the NFL, there's a sad story about Henry Ruggs, and it's not sad for Henry Ruggs because I have no sympathy for him. Tuesday morning, he was driving a Corvette Stingray. 22-year-old Ruggs slammed in the back of a Toyota RAV4 is in a residential area. He's going 156 miles an hour, 110 miles an hour over the speed limit, and he hits and kills Tina Tintor, 28 years old, and her dog also die in the fire that happens because of the accident. It's a gruesome thing. I'm not even going to get into everything. You can read it online about the poor victim and that poor family. And Ruggs has a broken hip, which no one cares, and I don't know what's up with his girlfriend. But he is in jail. He is awaiting charges of DUI, obviously reckless driving and vehicular homicide, I'm sure, whatever they have on there in Nevada. So, yeah, Henry Ruggs, 22 years old, from Alabama University, wide receiver, had a lot of promise. You know, kills a lady, 28 years old, young woman. And obviously her pet was with her. Sad, very sad. And Ruggs, you know, it just doesn't matter anymore. I feel sorry for a little bit about the Raiders, I guess, because how much they've gone through quite often, a lot as a team, but whatever, too, who cares? I don't feel sorry for anyone, really. It's more for the woman who lost her life and their family. So Ruggs is done. We will never, you know, where's he gonna? He's not playing anymore. He'll be in prison, where he belongs, for just such a stupid act with so much money, so much means that he would never need to be driving, let alone 156 miles an hour. Wouldn't matter if he was driving 56 miles an hour, right? So he was 2 times the legal limit. So that's a sad story, obviously, in the NFL for the lady who lost her life, and tragic kind of for Ruggs, because you think about it, he comes from a poor family. Now, I'm not tragic for Ruggs, but for his family. You know, he was making, the money's gone now. There'll be no money left. So he had a lot of responsibility to the team, to his family, and he just threw it out the window because he wanted to drink and drive. You'd think by now we would understand after all these years. So that is the Henry Ruggs story. Remember, if you want to interact with us on the message board, feel free. Any questions, any comments on what I'm saying, please feel free to do that. I want to talk about Ncaa football real quick. The first playoff power, the first playoff ranking done by, I guess, Dr. Pepper and ESP, whoever's doing this. But it's the one. It's the one you want. It's the one that gets you in the playoff. So there's a lot of things that happen here. Number one, Georgia stays at number 1. They're 8-0. They're going to play Missouri this week. Surprisingly, but not, Alabama at 7-1, who lost to number 13 Texas A&M 41-38, is number 2. Number 3 Michigan State is 8-0. They beat Michigan last week. They have a great running back who's probably going to be a Heisman Trophy definite finalist. They play Purdue, having a great year. Now, this is where things will always get crazy, is at number 4. Oregon at 7-1 is number 4. They're playing Washington. Oregon lost to the 3-5 Stanford Cardinals, 31-24. Ohio State at number 5, 7-1, lost to Oregon when Oregon was number 7 in the country, and Ohio State was number 5. Ohio State lost that game 35-28. So how Oregon and Ohio State aren't flipped is because Oregon beat Ohio State, right? So it's a mess, as usual. It always will be. How Alabama's number 2, I don't know. I mean, Cincinnati just got bounced out of there. They were undefeated. They were number 2 in the AP poll, in the coaches poll, and they just got taken out. They're number 6 now. I don't know. I mean, you got Notre Dame sitting there at 7-1, number 10. Wake Forest. That's a hell of a interesting to see them in the top 10. That's usually for basketball. They're 8-0 in the ACC, so that's interesting. Oklahoma 9-0 on a bye week. I do understand why they're number 8. I guess then I'd have to understand why Cincinnati is number 6 if I say that. So Michigan sits at number 7. They play Indiana this week. Obviously gearing up to that final game, or that game against Ohio State. So, I mean, when you think about it, I guess they got it set up well. If Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship, Alabama won't be in. Unless there's another 2, unless I don't know how they would do it. They wouldn't be in. If Ohio State or Michigan or whomever, because they're all going to play each other. Ohio State plays Michigan State and Michigan. So that will all fix itself out. Oklahoma is going to be interesting in Cincinnati because there's no more tough games. They should run the table, so they should sit undefeated. I mean, you'll sit there and have to say to yourself, is a 2-loss Alabama better than an undefeated Cincinnati and Oklahoma? Or an undefeated Wake Forest, who's probably going to win the ACC, I guess. I don't know. They got to fix this because those are the questions that get answered. How about the 1-loss Notre Dame? We know they play Navy this week, but generally they play a tough schedule because they're an independent, and they take on, they try to build them. So because of not having a conference, I think they try to, have the toughest schedule as possible because there's no conference championship for them. So they would need to do that. So yeah, the Ncaa football, again, as usual, has a lot of questions. It is part of the intrigue of it, but it's also part of the aggravation of it, if you're a fan and you follow. So you got to hope that someday we get to an 8-team. So you got to an 8-team tournament. As I'm looking at the top 8, after Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, and Oregon, the next 4 are Ohio State, Cincinnati, Michigan, Oklahoma. Now, you'd still have complaints at 8. Wouldn't you? Between Wake Forest and Notre Dame. Why wouldn't Wake Forest want to get it to see it's a mess? You'll always have that. You have that in the field of 64. You have people obviously on the bubble that end up going to the NIT that aren't happy about it. So you'll never have that, but you need more. This top 4 just doesn't work. Because if Alabama ends up with a second loss against Georgia, they should still be in the playoff. Because we know that they're better than the unbeaten Oklahoma or Wake Forest. So they'd have to be in there. But they won't be in there, and they got to fix that. And you could easily fix it. So hopefully in the next couple of years they will. So that's Ncaa football. There's a ton of games this week. I didn't really go over too many of them. Notre Dame does play Navy tomorrow at 3:30. Wake Forest at North Carolina. I haven't paid attention to Wake Forest. I am now. They play tomorrow at noon. Oklahoma has a bye. Michigan and Indiana at 7:30. Cincinnati plays Tulsa at 3:30. Ohio State at Nebraska at noon. Number 4, Oregon plays at Washington at 7:30. I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon loses again. Michigan State 8-0 at Purdue at 3:30. Alabama versus LSU, and boy, LSU's a mess at 7 p.m. I'm sure Alabama will be the knockout punch. And Georgia takes on Missouri tomorrow at noon. So there's your top 10, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good going down to the wire. So there's that. How you doing over there, Robin?
Doing good.
You're good? You all right? All right, good. Glad you're doing all right. I hate, you know who I can't stand? Spectrum. Internet. Yeah. Here where we live at, Spectrum owns everything. So you don't even have a choice on anything else. They got you caught. There's nothing you can do. You're at the mercy.
Yeah.
Can't get Verizon. I can't do nothing. We got them. So remember, let's go into Thursday Night Football. Might as well. Last night, a incredibly high scoring game. The Colts defeat the Jets 45-30. Carson Wentz looked good. 3 touchdown passes, 272. Jonathan Taylor is really, really picking up where it reminds me of the Wisconsin Jonathan Taylor. 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pittman Jr., 5 catches, 64 yards and a touchdown. Mike White sadly left the game with a forearm injury. I was kind of hoping he didn't. I wanted to see more of him. 95 yards and a touchdown. Josh Johnson, though, played really well. 317 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. And more for the Jets, 7 catches, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was a closer game than I think it really looked out to be. I thought the Jets, held their own. I mean, how far are you going to go now down to your third string quarterback? So you really can't expect much. I was hoping Michael Carter was going to get going for the Jets. And the Colts go to 4-5, and the Jets fall to 2-6. The line of that game was 10. The Colts were -10. So if you're on the Colts, you had a good night because it was pretty much over when it was 42-10. I mean, I think it was the third quarter. The only thing you had to watch was like what happened in that Houston game last week when they came back to break the line out of nowhere. They scored 22 points in the fourth quarter, and everyone was saddened by that. If you had, I don't even remember who were they playing last week. Let me see. Who did they play? Houston played the Rams. That's right, the Rams. It was 38-0, and Houston scored 22 points, and the line was 16. So it pushed for some, but some had it at 16.5. The Rams -16.5, and that was a very sad day for Rams people that bet on the Rams. But if you bet Houston, what a great, that doesn't happen often. So enjoy that because that never happens, right? All right, why don't we run down our NFL games for Week 9? And Robin, you can join in if you got anything to say over there. Feel free. Bye weeks: Detroit, Seattle, Tampa, and Washington are on bye, so set your your fantasy lineups accordingly, as all the Buccaneers are out. So let's go through some 1:00 games. We got first one, Falcons Saints. The 3-4 Falcons take on the 5-2 Saints. The Saints are -6.5. Over under is 42. We know Jameis Winston's out for the season. Sadly for him, it looks like Taysom Hill's going to start, which is interesting because you never know what you're going to get with him. Calvin Ridley stepped away from the game with mental health issues, which is a good thing these days that people and players are starting to take care of themselves when things like that come up, because you kind of have to. You have to, because as you get older, it just kind of festers, and you kind of have to take care of it. And good for Calvin Ridley, as hard as it must have been, because these guys have played the sport their whole life. So it had to be difficult for him to step away. And the Falcons, of course, everyone hopes and wishes Calvin Ridley well and is back as soon as he can be. That game, I don't know what I think of the Saints, but I know what I think of the Falcons. So I'm guessing the Saints win this game, but how can I say? Yeah, I could see it being a 3-point game. It's a game I don't want to bet because I'd have to go with the Falcons and the points, because I don't know if the Saints are as good as this record indicates. Maybe they are. They got a really good defense, I guess. So if it's me, I'm not touching the game. But if I had to, it'd be the Falcons. Just getting the points. It's just a long time rivalry game, and to me, it's tough. It's tough for me to lay 6.5. Here's another game. The old this is from like the 1977. I can't remember what it was, but Super Bowl. The Broncos are at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is -10. Dak Prescott looks ready to get back on the field. Dallas is undefeated against the spread this year. That's a good thing to know. So what that tells you is they probably aren't going to cover. The Broncos, obviously they started out, what were they, 3-0, and they've lost. They've only won 1 out of their last 4. Offense is just terrible. The defense sent Von Miller to the Rams. So the only thing about this game that would scare me on the -10 is the fact that what was just said, that they're undefeated against the spread. That concerns me. The Cowboys should, though, win this game going away and win it easily. But I wouldn't bet it just because if you're looking at the numbers like that, that's the only thing that causes me any thoughts that I would be concerned with. Because when things happen like that, and it's 7 games against the spread. Now we're going to number 8, number 9. Just eventually it's going to catch up. And I'll be the one who gets caught up on it, so I won't mess with it. I won't even touch it. The New England Patriots at 4-4 are at the Carolina Panthers, who are 4-4. Wow, what a difference between 2 4-4 teams. I think the Patriots are a decent 4-4 team. I think the Panthers are not. So I don't know if Christian McCaffrey may return this week. I think he's off the IR, so we'll see. Definitely helps Darnold when he's there. The line is New England minus 3.5. Over-under is 41. Panthers haven't thrown for 200 yards in the last 4 games. Mac Jones is more than efficient. He is efficient. He's outstanding, playing well. And obviously the Patriots was a big upset last week over the Los Angeles Chargers. So 4-4 Patriots at the 4-4 Panthers. Patriots should win this game. If I were to bet this game, I would go with the Patriots. I don't think the Panthers have much to offer right now. So unless, I don't even know, even with McCaffrey right now, I mean, he's coming back from a long injury. So yeah, I kind of like the Patriots in that one. The 3-4 Vikings are at the 5-2 Ravens. The Ravens sit at -6. The over-under is 50. Ravens had a bye. But before the bye was when Cincinnati really dismantled them. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are averaging 6.2 yards per play, which is the 4th most in the NFL. Vikings defense allowing 6th most yards in rushing. So, I mean, this seems like a game where Baltimore gets healthy and happy, and you would think that they can cover the 6. Sooner or later, I mean, you're going to have Lamar Jackson to have a really big game. It's coming. And, I'd have to go with the Ravens in this game if I were to be playing it, minus the 6. I think they probably win. They got to be angry after that. The embarrassment against Cincinnati, and it was a beating. You would think after a bye that they'll be ready to, take on the Vikings, and I think beat them handily in Baltimore. Browns at 4-4 at the 5-3 Bengals, the Battle of Ohio. This one, here's another one. These games are hard because rivalries like this in state, or, teams have been playing each other for 50, 60 years. Cincinnati's minus 2.5, over-under is 47. Both teams coming off losses, and the Bengals got beat by the Jets. And what did the Browns do? Who did they lose to? They lost to the Steelers. That was obviously their biggest rival. They lost 15-10. Baker Mayfield still struggling along with the, non-throwing shoulder labrum issues. It will be Mayfield versus Burrow. Jamar Chase, unbelievable. Probably the best game of the week, considering it is the Battle of Ohio. The Browns coming off that tough loss to the Steelers. And the Bengals have shown moments. I mean, geez, what they did to the Ravens and then what they do against the Jets. So they're up and down. This game, if it's me, I think I'm going with the Bengals on this one. 2.5 seems okay. I'd hate to see it go to 3, but I love 2.5. And if it hits 3 or 3.5, I would probably just stay away from it. But I do like them at minus 2.5, the Bengals. Just got to win by field goal. That's good by me. I think they can win this one. And the Browns, now, and of course, Odell Beckham Jr. was released. I have no idea what team he could be on or where he could go. Don't forget about Tampa Bay. There's too many players. There's not enough balls to go around for him. He's not going to New England. I don't see it. There's no Tom Brady there. So, yeah, I don't know a team that could. Maybe the Saints might be interested, being that Michael Thomas is done for, not coming back. You got to think of good teams, because why would he go to teams that are struggling? I wouldn't understand why he would do that. So, can't go to Buffalo. It can't go to Buffalo. Too much going on there. He won't get the play he wants. So you can't go there. Maybe San Francisco. I mean, could that be a landing spot for him? Maybe. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I have no idea. And I know that if I was a team that was struggling, I wouldn't want him. Just wouldn't want him. He's got to go somewhere that's winning, and he's got to go somewhere where he has the capabilities of, getting 10 targets or whatever. But some of those teams he never would. So the 5-2 Buffalo Bills are at the 1-6 Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bills are 14.5-point favorites. Over-unders 48.5. The Bills lead the league in margin of victory. They're at 17.1. The Bills have won 5 of their 5 games by double digits. Then the Jaguars are double-digit underdogs for the first time under Urban Meyer. I picked this game in one of my picks, so I'll let it go till later. But geez, I can't. Whoa, I don't know if 14.5 is enough. They just have to stop James Robinson, which I'm sure they realize that. And the over/under, I think the Bills will have to hit it themselves. Or I'm not expecting more out of Jacksonville than maybe 10 points. I'm pretty much telling you who I picked. So no mystery in that one. But it's hard. I mean, what the hell? It just seems too easy, and sometimes that's the worst ones that seem too easy. The Houston Texans at 1-7, taking on the Dolphins, who are 1-7. And the 1-7, I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to win a Super Bowl this year. I just didn't see them being 1-7. But of course, problems at quarterback, problems all around. And Miami's -6.5 in this game. The over/under is 45.5. Interesting. Obviously, this is a draft game. This is a game for where you're going to pick come draft time. So probably most fan bases don't want to win this game. Two of the three worst scoring offenses. Tyrod Taylor comes back for the Texans. So maybe the Texans are the play in this game if you're going to bet it. I mean, you're getting 6.5. The other team's 1-7. You're 1-7. Maybe the under's the play here too. But if I got to bet this game, I got to take the Texans plus the 6.5, considering, why not? I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't. Anything could happen here, but I would take the points. And the under seems easy, but again, I'm not a good over-under guy, so I just can't see it going over. Who knows? That's a tough one, but I do like the Texans if I had to play that game. The 5-2 Raiders are at the 2-6 Giants. Raiders are -3 in New York. Over/under is 46.5. Raiders have won 2 straight since the resignation of John Gruden. Cross-country game. I don't know if that matters anymore, but it used to. It used to mean something. Barkley's still out. Booker will start. Carr expected to. Obviously, he'll be there. The Ruggs situation, though, has got to be difficult for this team. Don't know how they respond. I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously, these people are it's like your work partners. So I don't know. I don't know how they respond to this. So they've had a lot happen, the Raiders team. Obviously, their coach got taken out, and now Henry Ruggs is going to be in prison for a long time. So I'm not sure. I don't know what to expect out of this game. Not a game that I would want to play if I was betting, because it's just not you don't know. I mean, could the Giants win? Sure, they could. Why not? Should they win? No, but they could. Over/under at 46.5. Maybe the over's good in this one. Maybe a good over in this game. But yeah, it's a tough one. Tough one, Robin. Tough one to try and handicap. I just can't see how you could handicap this game. I don't. It's just too much going on. Cross country, the Ruggs situation, Barkley's out. Yeah, just lay off of this game. I'm laying off. I can't deal with it. So now we're getting to the 4:00 games. The Chargers at 4-3 are taking on in Philadelphia the Eagles at 3-5. The Chargers are -1.5. The over/under is 50. Wow, the Eagles had 236 yards rushing last week. Who the heck did they? Oh, they beat the lowly Lions 44-6. The Chargers have one of the worst run defenses in the league, which I did not know. Thank you, Robin, for the stat. And the Eagles are 0-3 at home under Nick Sirianni. Chargers on a 2-game losing streak, which I'm kind of surprised, but hey, it might be what they need. I don't know. They lost to New England at home 27-24. They're coming across country too to Philadelphia, usually hostile Philadelphia. It's really a pick'em game. It's 1.5. Better team is the Chargers. Boy. I mean, the better team is the Chargers. So if you're going to pick it, you go with the Chargers. I think I don't see anything telling me why I wouldn't. because obviously that Lions game doesn't mean anything. So, yeah, if it's me, I'm going to go with the Chargers. Over-under is 50. It could go over. I might like the over in that game, too. I think I like the over better than the side, but I do like – I'm okay with the side. This is an interesting game. It's too bad. But the Packers at 7-1 are at the 4-4 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs may have caught a break here. Aaron Rodgers foolishly. I don't care about being vaccinated or not. That's not my concern. I can care less what you are or who is. But Rodgers lied to the media about being vaccinated. I assume the Packers then lied to the NFL about him being vaccinated. The NFL, of course, has made idle threats about forfeits and possible suspensions and all of that. When Rodgers was asked, it was so bizarre. You can see the video where he puts his head down. He looks all shifty and saying he was immunized. He didn't say, just foolishness. If he didn't want to get vaccinated, just say it. Just say it. And that's just say it. Don't try to play both sides. If there is two sides of this, there shouldn't be. But fine, just say you're not going to get it. But anyways, Kansas City is -7.5. The over/under is 48. The Packers have a lot of rest. They played on Thursday, while the Chiefs had a short week after playing Monday night. And what did the Chiefs do on Monday night? That's right, they beat the Giants barely, 20-17. The Packers have a top 10 defense. Mahomes is struggling horribly. I don't know what's going on. Throwing the ball up for grabs. Very strange what's happening with him. They catch a break, though, probably, in not having Rodgers there, right? And Love will take over, and this will be what a big game for him. What a huge game for him. Jordan Love, what an enormous game for him against the Chiefs. I picked this game already, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. But what a game, Rob. What a huge game for Love. Could you imagine if he comes out and plays well? Puts a career in a different spot than it was the day before. So that's the Packers 7-1 at the 4-4 Chiefs. The Chiefs need this game badly. They need every game. They can't lose any much more. The next 4 o'clock game and last one, 4:30 game, is the Cardinals at 7-1 at the 49ers 3-1. Another one of those games that they are rivalry type, division, all of that. Arizona's -1, over/under's 46. They suffered their first loss last week, Arizona, to whom? Let's see. I don't remember off the top of my head. Who did Arizona? Why can't I remember? Who did they beat? Come on, help me find it. Where are they in there? Or who'd they lose to? I don't remember.
They played Thursday night.
Thursday night? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. They lost. Arizona lost. And the Green Bay.
Right.
Green Bay, the Packers. So that was their first loss of the year. And, Elijah Mitchell looked good, though. He's still looking good for the Cardinals. I don't think there's much. Cardinals had the second highest. Like the Bills had the 17-point margin of victory. The Cardinals are at 13.5. The game's only one. This game will be chosen later when we do our picks. But, Garoppolo did rush for 2 touchdowns against the Bears. The Bears just gave that game away. They had the game, and they allowed, all of a sudden their defense collapsed in the fourth quarter. They controlled the game for 3 quarters. And but that's bad team like the Bears. That's what happens with them. So we'll talk about this game shortly when we give our picks. Sunday night game, good one. Sadly, though, Derrick Henry's out. The Tennessee Titans at 6-2 are at the Rams, who are 7-1. The Rams are -7.5. The over/under is 53.5. Henry out for the season, likely with foot surgery. The Rams have Von Miller now. It's really unfortunate that Henry's gone for fantasy owners and for the Titans themselves. Mick Nichols, Adrian Peterson, who knows what's going to happen there. They're very identical teams when it comes to statistically, especially defensive stats. Geez, 7.5 seems like a lot, but without Henry, who knows what's going to happen. So it's going to be a tough one to play if you're looking at betting it. It's going to be I think it could go over 53.5. But I don't know if the Titans just get shut down without Henry. That's the thing I don't know. I don't know if A.J. Brown and that are enough. If it's enough in Tannehill to, losing him is just it was a devastating loss for the Titans. A happy day for most of the AFC though, because he was a monster. He was doing all kind. I mean, he could have brought them very far in the playoffs. And now I think they're going to have to worry about making the playoffs. Who knows? I don't know how this is going to all click. It'll be an interesting game though to watch, of course, because it's 6-2 Titans on Sunday Night Football against the 7-1 Rams. Like I said, if I had to pick this game, geez, I hate 7.5. It's high. I'd probably, God, too much indecision on this one. Too much things, right, Robin? Too many things, too many variables to play this game. If you had to go over, maybe. If you have to play the game, I'd go over, I think. Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears at 3.5, as you can see my shirt, the beloved. At the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 4-3. The Steelers minus 6.5. Over/under is only 40. Fields had a breakout game last week. Rushed for a touchdown, 103 yards, threw for 200 yards and something. Had a good game, that was his best game as a pro, and hopefully he builds on that. The Steelers have won 3 straight. They're back in contention in the AFC North. TJ Watt, I'm very concerned for the Bears and their offensive line. And with Watt, it might be a long day. It very well could be. But because right now, the Bears offensive line, well, not right now. It's been like that since the season started. You have Jason Peters there. He's 41 years old. That's all you got to know. And I don't know. I don't know how the Bears survived this one, but the line's kind of high at 6.5. I don't know. I don't know if the Steelers are that good either, to be honest with you, offensively. So, Najee Harris has started to play well, but I don't know. There's something about the Steelers I'm not sure. I mean, they scored 15 points against the Browns, and that game's an interesting one, but we will talk about that because Robin has selected that game in her selections in the NFL. So why don't we first of all remind you that this is Goal Getters. I'm your host, John Rustino at Gorillas Inc. Tomorrow, Falls Count Anywhere. Chris DiCarlo, Charlie Turner. Excellent show, professional wrestling. They talk about current and old school stuff. A lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. Brings you down memory lane a little bit too, and keeps you current. And professional wrestling is a big business and a big, big following. So we're happy to have them and to bring that following into Gorillas Inc. with us. So I'm very happy. They do a great job. Check it out tomorrow at 2 p.m. Don't you dare miss it, as Billy Earl Lyons used to say. So let's talk about the NFL picks. Wade is on assignment, so we do not have his picks this week, as he is trying desperately to get our internet situation settled because Spectrum's killing us. Robin, I will give your picks for you.
Thank you.
Robin at 63% is killing me in Wade, so there's no point in even telling you. We're in the mid-40s. So here comes the winner. Well, here comes the money, so listen up. She likes the Bengals minus 2.5 at home against the Browns. Yeah, it's a good pick. Seems like the Browns are really kind of reeling a little bit. I don't know about Mayfield either. They're going to have to start really leaning on that running game. Robin likes the Chargers minus 1.5 at Philadelphia. Yeah, I do too. I mean, because they're the better team and it's only 1.5. The only thing is going across country, playing in Philly. That's the only trepidation, I guess you'd say. But other than that, you'd think the Chargers would get healthy. And I mean, back on the winning ways against the Eagles. Robin likes Monday Night Football and the Bears plus 6.5 at the Steelers. I'm scared of that game. I don't like it at all. But I understand the thought of the Bears because their defense is still okay. And I don't know if the Steelers' offense is really that great. I know the Bears can have a pass rush, especially if Khalil Mack is healthy, and Roethlisberger doesn't really move around that well. So if they stop Najee Harris, maybe they can keep this game close. I mean, they were in it last week. They should have. They had the 49ers on the ropes. They beat the Bengals, right? That's one of their wins. So they've beaten decent teams. So it'll be interesting, but Robin likes the Bears plus 6.5. Now on to me, who you don't really just, listen to this at your own risk. I like the Arizona Cardinals -1 at San Francisco. Just going to go by the fact that Arizona's better. The Bears the Bears had the 49ers for three quarters. And I don't see how they handle Arizona. So I do like the Cardinals -1. I really like the Buffalo Bills -14.5. I don't see why they don't win this game by 17 or more. Jacksonville, if they stop Robinson, I don't think that Trevor Lawrence can do anything against the Bills, who really need to start making sure they win games. Obviously, they're going to win. They're going to lose to Jacksonville. But obviously, you might even want to give it a shot to where this is the only fear I have, is if they get up too far and people start coming out of the game. I guess that would be my only concern, would be that. And then you get what happened in Houston last week against the Rams, because they did that. They took out Stafford. And next thing you know, 22 points later, Houston's covered the spread, or at least pushed you, depending on what you did. Only thing that scares me about that. Only thing. You almost need Jacksonville to make sure they score at least 10, because then that keeps them engaged. So I do like Buffalo -14.5. A little scared by that. On Green Bay versus Kansas City, I like the Green Bay Packers +7.5. I don't think Kansas City has any. I don't care who the quarterback is. Right now, they don't prove like they have a defense, the Chiefs, and their offense is not working. So I really like the Packers +7.5 and Love, and they're a good team, and they can run the ball. So they might just run all night. Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs could lose this game outright. And from what I see of them, I mean, the Giants had them beat on Monday Night Football, and just turnovers. The Giants, they beat themselves. So this will be interesting. I think the Packers play well. They have a very good defense. They have an excellent running game. You don't need Love to do much, but if Love does something, I think this game was the Packers, I think, -3, and it flipped because of Rodgers' nonsense with lying about being vaccinated or not. So it's really interesting. But I got to tell you, I really, really like Green Bay. I like them a lot. And I think they're my favorite play of the week. I think I would have to say. I might almost guarantee a win by Green Bay. I hate Green Bay. But I almost think I can guarantee a win. And yeah, why not? I'm only picked 40% right, so who cares? But yeah, check it out. And don't forget Robin's picks. Bengals -2.5, Chargers -1.5, Bears +6.5. I'm going with Arizona -1, Buffalo -14.5, Packers +7.5. Wade is on assignment, so he is not available for his picks, but that's okay because we do winning percentage. Yeah, tomorrow, do not forget about our great wrestling show that we have, professional wrestling. Balls count anywhere. Chris DiCarlo, Charlie Turner. Like I said earlier, it brings you back to your childhood some ways, for professional wrestling, but also current wrestling. Like I said, it's a humongous, business. And I'm glad we have these guys. They're going to have a couple of guests tomorrow. That's always fun. And we look forward to that show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Robin, how you doing over there? All right?
Doing good.
Doing good, yeah. All right. Well, as you can see, we have a different setup today, but that's just because we are getting Spectrum to give us some, they're really something. They're some kind of internet provider, I'll tell you. They may be the only one. Yeah, they are. I cannot get Verizon. I would love to. But no, so we will wait and hope that Spectrum gives us what we need, which I'm sure they will. So join us next week. I will be back same time, same place. Goal Getters on Gorillas Inc. Don't forget about Citizens United with me on Mondays at 6 o'clock. You also have Niagara Generates Power. That's on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Keith Lindsay and Amanda Malone, right?
Yes.
They're with us. Amanda from up in Toronto. Good ways for you to make money on that show. She tells you a lot of things. Keith bringing great guests. So yeah, check that out too. More to come from Gorillas Inc. And yeah, we'll be back next week. I hope you enjoyed the show. Reach out anytime on Facebook. You can find us, Goal Getters, and myself, John Rustino. All right, everybody, take care and have a pleasant weekend and watch a lot of football and all kinds of stuff.